Good day, friends. Welcome to Football 360. So, here we meet again, and it's a Champions League Tuesday. It's a bright, sunny Tuesday morning here in Kumasi, Ghana, West Africa, transmitting to you live from wherever you are. So, we shall be discussing Arsenal, Paris Saint Germain, first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi finals. And so, when it comes to the Champions League, you know that there are some indicators that you have to look out for before you can be able to stick your neck out for a team. And the first indicator that you'd have to consider is whether or not a certain team has won the trophy before, because the Champions League is a competition that favors those that have touched the trophy before. We can all know that and can recall that the most successful club in the UEFA Champions League history, Real Madrid, were tamped out by 5 goals to 1 on aggregate against Arsenal, and so they are home and we'll be watching this live on the TV tonight. The team that trashed them by 5 goals to 1 is in action today, and they will be playing hosts to the champions of French football and Le Championnat, Paris Saint Germain, tonight at 7 p.m. So the teams, the first criteria that we have to look at, both teams are yet to win the trophy. Remember, Arsenal make their first UEFA Champions League final in 2006 in that game against Barcelona. That Barcelona had to come from a goal down to beat Arsenal by 2 goals to 1. From there, they've been struggling, they've been knocking, they've been attempting, but then all their efforts have proved futile, and then they are yet to see the final spot. But the fortune of football has smiled on them and it's giving them the opportunity to make yet another final. They have a stumbling block in their way in the shape of Paris Saint Germain, and we'll be looking at how Arsenal will be able to go past PSG and make it to the finals. Paris Saint Germain, on the other hand, are also yet to win the competition. They made their final in Thomas Tuchel's second season when he took them to the UCL final in 2020. Unfortunately, they were beaten by Bayern Munich, kind courtesy their own guy, Kingsley Coman, tamped out and they couldn't win it. We know that the Saudis have invested so much in the Paris Saint Germain project, and all that all Parisians will be looking ahead is to be crowned champions of Europe. And so a lot is at stake in this game. A lot is at stake because even though Arsenal have already beaten PSG this season, remember that 2-0 win at home in the group stage, Liverpool has taught us something. Liverpool has shown that topping the league or the league stage means nothing because they went unbeaten in the group phase, top eight, but they were eventually thrust away by this same PSG. And so it means that PSG has become a parasite for English clubs this season. They beat Liverpool in round 16. They took away Aston Villa in the quarters, and they have another English opposition in the shape of Arsenal to account for. If they're able to do it, that will be back to back to back. A three-peat of defeat for English clubs trying to maneuver their way past PSG and make it to the finals. The second criteria that we have to look out for is the midfield battle. Now, PSG has the most fanciful, controlled, and the most press resistant midfield in Europe. I don't think you are going to disagree. I don't think you are going to argue. That midfield three of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves is none to be compared to. They can control the game, they can dictate pace, they can retain the ball, and they can show you the tempo that they have the ball to go. That is why when Arsenal met PSG in October, even though Arsenal won that game, Arsenal could only account for 35% of ball possession. 35%, just one third. So PSG have the midfield to control the game, they have the midfield to retain possession, and they have the midfield to dictate the pace of the football. In that same midfield lies Thomas Partey, the guy that brews past the midfield of Madrid. Unfortunately for Partey, he's set to miss out today's game due to yellow cards accumulation. So Arsenal are going to miss their star man, Thomas Partey. But then they have Mikel Merino, who slotting into the midfield with Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. So in the absence of Thomas Partey, they get Mikel Merino, who is not a controller, but he brings an added advantage in aerial duels and in their set piece. Mikel Merino has been deployed as a false nine for 6.5 in the Arsenal setup due to the injuries of their strikers, Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz, and he's been scoring from set pieces. So even though he's not going to give them that tempo and control like Thomas Partey is going to give, he's going to give them an extra edge in set pieces and aerial duels. One disadvantage in control, an extra advantage in aerial duels. Another indicator is to compare whether PSG perform so well in English soil or on English soil or they do poorly. Paris Saint-Germain has traveled 6 times to face English oppositions in their last 5 UCL encounters. They've been beaten twice by Manchester City, once by Newcastle, once by Aston Villa, and once by Arsenal. It means that in their last 6 travel to England, they have lost 5 times. So if you travel to a place 6 times and you are slapped and beaten 5 times, it means that place is so toxic for you that you have to advise yourself going back then again. So I know in the shape of experienced gaffer Luis Enrique, he will know what to do and tell his boys going to Emirates Stadium tonight. So in their last 6 games on English soil, they've lost 5 and won once. Now the coaches. Luis Enrique, having won this competition 10 years ago in 2015 with Barcelona, comes up against Mikel Arteta, a not so experienced coach in the Champions League. Now, Arteta made his best season last year when he was able to guide his Arsenal side to the quarters of the Champions League. Fortunately, Bayern Munich will beat them in the semis and dump them. He has the opportunity this time around. He's in the semi-finals and he looks set to beat Paris Saint-Germain and advance to the Champions League. In the last 6 years, he's done a good work, having been given the work from Unai Emery, an experienced gaffer. He's guided his Arsenal setup. Thrice they've jumped second on the league log. So this year, that Manchester City are in a poor form. Many had expected Arsenal to be champions of the English Premier League, but it seems they fancy being runners-up so much than being champions. So again, they've been second, and again, they've missed out on the Premier League. And so Mikel Arteta has no more eggs to put in any other basket than to carry his lone sole single egg in the Champions League and be champions. He has no other option but to win the trophy. Of course, you can find excuses for him. You can find excuses that he has missed his strikers, Gabriel Jesus. He has missed Kai Havertz. He has missed Bukayo Saka for a greater chunk of the season. Thank God he's back. He scored against Madrid. Yes, his Panenka penalty was saved by Thibaut Courtois, but they still find a way to lob the ball over him to find the back of the net. In their last game against PSG in October, he was on the score sheet. He found the net, and so anytime that Bukayo Saka scores, it brings a certain level of good omen for Arsenal, and it brings them closer and closer to victory. And so a man that you have to look out for today or tonight is Bukayo Saka. But who is Bukayo Saka coming up against? Bukayo Saka is coming up against the agile, athletic, and fast-pacing left back in the shape of Nuno Mendes. Now, Mohamed Salah, who is being in blister from this season, who has won Liverpool the Premier League, and who is said to be the best player in the Premier League this season, couldn't pass the Nuno Mendes test. Obviously, he failed both home and away, and that accounted for Liverpool missing out on their advances in the Champions League. Bukayo Saka is going to face this agile, athletic, strong, energetic Nuno Mendes again. And so on that right side of Arsenal's attack, on that left side of Paris Saint-Germain's defense is where all the action is going to take place. And so I would have to pay much attention to how Bukayo Saka is going to go past Nuno Mendes. In October, having gone past Nuno Mendes in the first 2 minutes, Bukayo Saka was kept quiet in the last 88 minutes in the game. It means Nuno Mendes had a better advantage over Bukayo Saka. Is he going to have an extra edge of Bukayo Saka in this game? Or Bukayo Saka is going to do to Nuno Mendes what he did to David Alaba? We live to see. Another battle is on Arsenal's left side and PSG's right-hand side. Is Luis Enrique going to play Dizel Douye, who has averaged the best dribbling advantage of 3.1, or is going to play Vladimir Bakola, who has 2.7 average dribbling per game? Whoever he goes in for has the ability to give him the attacking options and benefit. But these same guys will be meeting a teenager Matt Lewis Kelly of Arsenal's left back. Matt Lewis Kelly, mind you, is young, so he runs a lot. He covers spots, he covers grounds, but then he's a monster on 1v1. Matt Lewis Kelly, surprisingly, as young as he is, has been beaten just once in the last 1,488 minutes. That is 24 hours of football. So if a young chap, if a teenager has played left back for 24 hours of football and has only been dribbled past once, it should tell you the quality of that talent. And so whether Luis Enrique is going to play Bradley Bacola or Desire Douye, they also have a lot to do. But the game is going to be decided by the midfield. Both clubs are going to line up pacey wingers. Arsenal will come with Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. PSG are coming with Osman Dembele. They are coming with Kivicha Kvaratskhelia. They are coming with either Bacola or Douye. These are runners. They have athleticism, they are agile, they cover grounds, and they don't mind coming back to help their defense. Achraf Hakimi will be making all the overlappings, doing all the insurges and outsurges. And this is a game that we'll be looking out for. Arsenal are yet to. Arsenal have kept 9 clean sheets in their last 11 UCL home games, and we'll be so happy to protect this record. But with the attacking options of PSG in the shape of Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Osman Dembele, Bradley Bacola, Desire Douye, they are set to concede a goal. I am so sure that PSG have a goal in this game. I'm so sure that Arsenal are going to concede. Another angle is that they are missing Gabriel Magalhaes and that he will be replaced by Jacob Kiwior. Yes, the Polish have been so good. He's done so good for himself having come in to replace Gabriel Magalhaes, but then the quality of Gabriel can't be compared to that of Jacob. And so, yes, William Saliba is there. Yes, Jurien Timber is around, but PSG are definitely going to find the back of the net. And so I'm sure their clean sheet record that they look set to protect will be declined today, and their card to advance to another clean sheet slot in the UCL will be declined. Now, the formations, both coaches like to have the ball. Both coaches have attacking options, even though Mikel Arteta sometimes can play terrific football. Sometimes he will give you Nyama football that you can't explain. That Jose Mourinho, Diego Simeone, tactless kind of football. But he's learned from Pep Guardiola. And so as a student of Pep Guardiola, he knows how to control games. And so both teams look set to set up in a 4-3-3 formation. So briefly into the formation or briefly into the expected lineups, then we know how the game is going to end. So Mikel Arteta is going to give us his number one, David Raya in post, Lewis Kelly at left back, at right back is Jurien Timber, and centre will be Jacob Kiwior and William Saliba. In the midfield, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, Mikel Merino coming in to replace Thomas Partey, and his attacking options are going to be Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, and Bukayo Saka. Same as PSG's 4-3-3. Jelonji Donnarumma in post, Marquinhos, Pacho for 4 and 5, Achraf Hakimi right back, left back Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, the fanciful midfield 3, and the attacking options of Dembele, Desire Douye, and Kivicha Kvaratskhelia. Both clubs are going to attack. Arsenal are going to score. PSG are going to score. Arsenal are not going to keep a clean sheet. The only advantage that Arsenal have in this game is to score more than a goal. If they are unable to score more than a goal, they will be closer to a defeat than a draw. I don't see Arsenal winning this game. I don't see Arsenal winning this game. I don't know how they are going to account for the tactical variations of Luis Enrique. He is experienced at this stage of the competition. He has won it before. You can make a case that he won it with the NMS of Barcelona, the Neymar, Messi, Suarez, and he doesn't have that quality here. But from the numbers Kivicha Kvaratskhelia and Osman Dembele has given to us this season, they don't have the names as compared to the NMS, but they have the attacking prowess and the quality. Arsenal to score, PSG to score. Arsenal's best in this game will be a draw, and I think that Arsenal are going to be the third club to fall to PSG, the third Premier League club to fall to PSG in their bid to advance to the Champions League. My prediction is a 1-1 draw, and that Arsenal not making it past PSG to the finals. But you leave to see tonight at 7 p.m. Like, share, subscribe, leave your comment at the comment section. You might disagree with my prediction. You might want Arsenal to score PSG by 5 goals to 1. I think the Madrid fans will be supporting PSG tonight, and I know that the Barcelona fans will also be supporting Arsenal. They want the weaker option so that they can thumb them in the finals. But who knows? 7 p.m. UCL semi-final first leg at the Emirates Sports Stadium. See ya.